David, I believe you have some transfer news for us.
Yes, Alec, I'm delighted to say that we will have Sean O'Deal joining us from Crusaders. As everyone knows, Sean was here for a period on loan, and we're delighted to say that he has now come back to Ballymena on a permanent basis.
And what impressed you most about him, David, during his spell with us?
There's a number of number of qualities. Everyone knows that Sean's a quality goalkeeper. You don't need to look back or for me to wax lyrical in terms of what he's achieved and what he's done in the game. But coming in, he just came in and fitted in very, very well as part of the squad. Certainly, it gives us now great competition, alongside Jordan Williamson and Sam Johnson. That really has strengthened our goalkeeping, position. When we think last year of the injuries that we sustained and the difficulties that we found ourselves in. But he comes with an enthusiasm. He's a character, he's a personality. He's someone who is infectious, not afraid to stand up and be counted, and certainly he is a most welcome addition to our squad here at Ballymena.
And we've also signed David McDade, one which is really exciting the supporters.
Yes, we're delighted to get the David transfer over the line. It was long and protracted at times. Ultimately, we wanted to be sure, and David wanted to be sure, that Ballymena was the right place for him. When we sign any player, vitally important that it is totally right for the player, because if it's not right for the player, Alex, it's not right for the club. And so there was a period of consideration. And after going through that, then David, ironically, on our way back from holiday, came in contact and said, "Want to come? Very much want to play at Ballymena United." Tremendous servant, at Larne, what he did and what he achieved there, and the contribution that he made there. But David is a class act, tremendous footballer. Great personality as well, technically very, very good, and again, I don't need to go on about his qualities. Everyone knows he's a quality player, so we're delighted to have David in, and that again then now very much gives us a good, solid options with regards to our front players.
And then as part of that deal, obviously we've seen Leroy leave, which was sad to see, but it's football, I suppose.
Listen, Alex, one thing that we can't give young men at the moment is the proper full-time experience, so to speak. We knew at the turn of the year that when Larne had made an approach, and obviously were quite within their rights to speak with Leroy because of the expiry date of his contract. We certainly tried to match what was being offered in as many ways as we could. The one thing that we couldn't match was as I've said, the full-time experience, so to speak. Larne have embraced that tremendously well right from the get-go, and they probably are the most established full-time team with regards to regime and timetable and all of that. So yes, it was obviously it's sad, to see your club captain go and the local boy go. But you take a step back and then you think, well, look at the contribution that he made, to Ballymena United, and look at the contribution that we made with regards to Leroy, and how we helped him and how he helped him his development. So another player who has moved on, but the baseline is that you can't argue when someone says, well, I want full-time football, and when we at this moment in time aren't in a position to give that.
And last night, David, it was confirmed that we signed Corbett, Tweed and Gibson. How excited are you for those three signings?
We're very excited. We've worked very hard with regards to these three young players. Brian in particular, in terms of really driving it forward with regards to the players themselves. Young Jake Corbett, was such a shining light at a younger age, Then he had an injury which stopped him in his tracks, so to speak. Now fully recovered, went out on loan to Harlan with Welders. Funny, in a conversation with Gary Smith today and discussing a pre-season friendly, he spoke so very highly of Jake. And this is a young man who, as I say, had a stutter in his career because of injury. But he's back now, fit and hungry, full of desire. And he knows that here he will be given opportunity to further develop. I would like to thank David Healy. Actually, I spoke with David with regards to Jake, and he couldn't speak highly enough of Jake. And really, he felt it was best now that he stepped out of Linfield, so to speak, and go and see if he could play regularly elsewhere. And we're hoping very much that will be the situation with Jake. Tremendous young man, really is a lovely young fella, and someone who has a real hunger and a real desire, and I was most impressed with that.
And then Evan Tweed and Gibson as well, Andy.
Evan Tweed, Evan has been someone who we have had our eye on for some time, actually back in his institute days, and unfortunately back then we lost out, so to speak, to our neighbours up the road, Coleraine. We could understand, made sense logistically where Evan lives and what have you. His career again, has gone through a wee period where he maybe wasn't playing as often as he would like, and that was a situation where we were able to say, well, maybe opportunity would be more here, and sometimes you've got to leave one club to get opportunity elsewhere and for your career to kick on. Evan's quality player, I feel, has a number of attributes which I feel will be very beneficial to the group and to the squad. Again, a young man with a hunger and a desire, and in his words, someone who now really wants to kick on, and delighted that we've signed him.
And Jordan Gibson as well, Andy.
Yes, affectionately known by a lot of people as Big Yaya. To me, he will be known as Jordan, someone who I have looked at with envious eyes for 2-3 seasons. Great footballer, can play in a number of positions. I suppose he really came to my eye more prominently this year because I think he scored the winning goal in 2 of the games for Carrick. But again, a young man who we had targeted, and obviously when he became available to talk to other clubs, we wanted to make sure we were in there and in there quickly. Again, a tremendous, delightful young man, but for such a physical presence, he is such technically a good player, works very hard, really hungry, as I say, same as Evan and same as Jake, in terms of wanting to improve and wanting to get better, and wanting an opportunity to be at a new club. And so we're absolutely delighted, as we are with the other 2 boys, to have Jordan coming in to join us.
And Dougie Wilson and Scott Whiteside missed a lot of last season through injury, particularly Scott Whiteside. Can we expect to see them in contention soon, David?
We're hoping so, Alex. Poor Scott had a trying year. To take 2 years to get over the particular injury isn't usual. I'm not a medic, so I'm not going to start commenting on the whys and wherefores, but it was a very trying year. But we showed our belief in Scott by obviously, when he still wasn't available to play, an extension to his contract. So we're hoping that he'll come back and hit the ground running for pre-season. Douglas has gone through surgery, which we're delighted has gone well. His was a stop-start season when he was able to play and able to contribute. People were able to see what a quality footballer that he is. So we're hoping that both of those players will be able to pick up. Scott will do so quicker. Dougie, as I say, is very much in the recovery period. We haven't got to rehab just fully yet. But I'm hoping that both of them will come back and be able to make a sizable contribution.
And there have been rumours recently regarding David Parkhouse interest from other clubs? Or are those rumours of any substance?
Off-season nonsense. Off-season nonsense. I really don't want to go into it too deeply, but as I understand, there was a tweet. People know I don't do social media, so but there was a tweet out talking about interests. Let me just be very clear. I've spoken with Patrick McLaughlin from Cliftonville, and I've spoken with Daniel Fletcher, David's agent. And I think we're all now very clear. Why would we go and get David Parkhouse last year? Why would we pay a transfer fee? Why would we put him on a 3-year contract? Why, having had a horrendous injury at the start of the year, took such time to get him back to fitness? Why, when David, people could see when he was not even fully fit, the contribution we would make? Why would we even consider? He's another 2 years of his contract, so I don't know. With some of this silliness, I'm not even quite sure I should be commenting on that, to tell you the truth.
And just finally, David, 5 in, 5 out so far. Can we expect to see much more transfer activity this summer?
We'll keep looking, Alex. We're pleased with where we're at the moment. But Brian and I are very clear that if there are players who become available who will make us stronger and make us better, then we will look to strengthen the squad. Obviously, we've got to work within a budget. We've got to be clear about what we can do with regards to affordability. But we've purposely tried to be as creative as we can with regards to our ins and outs, so to speak. But if there were other players who we felt would make us better, make us stronger, then we will certainly be continuing to look. It's not a matter of saying like job's done, it's over and done with, so to speak. Not the case at all.